3D Owl with a Hidden Message Acrylic Nail Art Tutorial by Hotpinkzebrapolish. Hi everyone! In today's video I'm going to be doing another 3D design, and this one's going to be an owl. I did a 3D owl design, was one of the first 3D designs I did a long time ago, and if you want to see my improvements I will put a link to that video in the description box and you can just do a little comparison if you so desire. This particular owl has one wing that opens up, and underneath his wing it says wisdom, and the other wing is stationary, and so if you wanted them both to open, that would work out just fine, or if you wanted them both to not open, you can do it that way too, however it is that you want to do it, or whatever your purpose is. So I hope you like this design, and don't forget to click subscribe to see my future videos as well. So for the background, I'm going to begin by creating an overlay with gold glitter. This is a glitter mix that I have, but it's a clear base with all sorts of different kinds of gold glitter in it. There's some bar glitter and hexagon and then little flecks, that just to create sort of a semi-sheer look in the background. Once I have that done, I'm going to encase the nail with a layer of clear acrylic, because if you don't encase over glitter, you're going to end up filing it, and then any color is going to be removed and turn it to this sort of ugly flat gray look, which is not really what we're going for. You want it to be nice and sparkly and gold. So now I'm going to be filing that with a 180 grit file to smooth out any ridges and lumps, bumps, and imperfections, and also bring in the sides a little bit, and then buff it with a 240 grit petted buffer, and then apply a layer of glossy gel sealer and throw that in my lamp to cure. Once that is done curing, I'm going to start sculpting out my owl. So I'm going to begin with his two eyes, or his head, actually the circles that are around his eyes. So I'm going to add two large circles that pretty much reach to the edges of my nail, not quite, but close. And that is with black. And then I'm going to add a little bit of a oval beneath for his body. It's actually not an oval, it's sort of like a rounded out triangle. And then underneath one of the eyes, I'm going to create a little hole in that black acrylic. This is going to be part of the hinge that is going to be for the wing. So if you want both wings to open, you're going to need to make two little holes. And if you want neither wing to open, you don't have to worry about that step at all. So then I'm going to add two little horns for his little feather tufts up above on the corners of his eyes. And then I'm going to dip a bead of clear acrylic into black hexagon glitter and make his eye area glittery. And those hexagon glitters are going to almost leave a feathered appearance. And if you wanted, you could also add this on his tummy. I decided that I just wanted to keep that over his eyes. And then over that, I'm going to be adding a smaller circle within it of gold, and then add a black gem for his eye. And then do that on the other side. So this is using gold acrylic. That's a really soft gold, not a metallic gold, but just a shimmery warm gold color. And then I'm going to be adding his black beak between his eyes. And then I'm going to look at how big it needs to be, and I'm going to sculpt or draw out a petal shape for his wings, and I'm going to just measure it up, and I'm doing this on a piece of paper. Once I have the right size drawn, I'm going to take black acrylic and I'm going to be sculpting over the top of it, and I put down a nail form backing over my drawing, and then as you can see through it, and that way when you sculpt your two wings, you know they're going to be the same size, because you can just move that over and you can do the other one. If you want them to open, you're going to need to add another little hole in your wing. So once you have it up near the top, just create another little hole. And now I'm going to be decorating them, so I'm going to add a stripe of black acrylic, and then with my brush I'm going to press it out into this little wavy line to add a feathered appearance. This doesn't have to be perfect by any means, just you don't want it to be smooth looking, you want your wings to have a little bit of a texture. So first I added a stripe in the middle, and then a shorter one on either side of it, and then just a really small bead at the very tip of the wing and at his shoulder. And you can press those out. And then repeat it for your second wing. And for this one, since you don't want to cover up or fill in your hole, I'm going to do a stripe in the middle, and then one on each side, and then just a little bit more at the tip, but you don't need to do it at his shoulder. So now to make the opening wing, I'm going to take a head pin. So that's a pin that's got a little bit of a flat top on it. And then I'm going to fit it, make sure it fits in my hole. And then I'm going to trim it down to size again, just to make sure it's nice and short. And this is a little bit difficult to trim off just a little tiny bit off the end of it without trimming any of your skin or a fingernail, so do that carefully so that you don't cut yourself, and make sure it goes through the hole in the wing. And to make the holes, I actually used the same head pin at the end of it, and I first dipped it in some clear acrylic so it wouldn't stick, and then that's what I used to create the hole. That way you know that your hole is going to be about the right size, and then you can fit it in there like that. Once you know it fits properly, put a little bit of nail glue on the hole that is on the owl. So just take a little tiny bit, less is more in this circumstance, and then place your wing on there, and you're going to have to hold it until the glue sets. So hold the head pin with one hand and then wiggle the wing back and forth with the other one to prevent that from getting glued into place. And if it does seem like it's getting a little bit stuck, you can make sure it gets lifted up with either a little pair of scissors or a cuticle pusher. Just make sure that it still moves. That's the key. You want to make sure that it is mobile. And then I'm going to be attaching the other wing with just a little bit of clear acrylic as glue and holding that into place on the other side. So if you're doing one both ways, or if you're doing them both ways, either way, just repeat the steps for both sides. And then I'm going to be painting some gel paint over the top of his wings. And on the one that opens, I want to make sure that I don't seal the head pin or glue the head pin onto the wing. So just be careful that none of that gel sealer, or gel paint, gets on both the head pin continuously over the wing. But you're going to want to add it to both the head pin and the wing. So just add a little bit more, and then add some of that gel paint on his beak, and then add his toes. So his toes are just like an upside down V shape. After that is cured halfway, so for me that is 60 seconds in a UV light, I'm going to be buffing in some gold chrome powder. So I'm just taking a tiny little bit on an eyeshadow applicator and just rubbing it in. It doesn't take very much at all. Again, less is more in this circumstance. As long as it covers, that's enough. You don't want any extra powder on there, or it's going to make it look glittery and not metallic. And now I'm going to be applying gel sealer, and I'm going to put that over the gold, or the black glittery part of his eyes, and over everywhere that has that chrome powder. So over the wings, feet, and beak. And then underneath the wing, I'm going to open that up, and I'm going to be writing wisdom. This is extremely little, and if you can't write that small, I'm not surprised. It's really tiny. You could write who, or just wise, or love, or whatever little saying you want underneath your wing. And if you have both wings open, you can do something that goes with both. And so it's a lot of fun. It's really easy, and that's it. I hope you like this design, and don't forget to share recreations with me on Facebook and Twitter. I'd love to see them, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!